Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Violator #1. If you're squeamish, I highly suggest this book is not for you because we're about to get into one hell of a ride. So with that said, let's dive into this book. The print date on this was May 1994. This is The Violator. Violator is the villain of Spawn. The story is Alan Moore. Pencils is Bart Sears. Inks, Mark Pennington. Letter, Tom Orzganowski. And the color was Steve Olive and Ollie Optics. And this is called The World. This was a 3-part miniseries. And so we see from a first-person point of view, which I think is interesting because it keeps you wondering what these characters look like. Like, come on, what kind of black oracle is this anyway? All we're getting is pictures of some lousy planet. Focus that sucker. Oh, come on, look. You know this type of blood is like. The picture's always lousy, and the vertical hold is a mess. And as they zoom in, we see a city. They're like, what continent is that? How the hell do I know? I just told you to find our brother. And they don't mention the little bastard exiled to Earth in human form. He's a disgrace. Like, I think it's him. If it is, he's fraternizing with mobsters. Wasn't he killing mobsters before losing his powers? Really? Gee, I wonder how they feel about that. And so you're like, who the hell are these guys? And he flipped the page, and you see the Violator is just out. And these mobsters are getting ready to toss him overboard. And there's a funny back and forth, because this is the mob boss's assistant. He's like, I wasn't cut out for this kind of work. But anyway, as the boss walks away, it's like, okay, guys, you heard what Dracula said here. On the count of 3, you throw him in the river. 1, 2. And I like how the Violator looks up. Nice tie. 3, what? And as they throw him, he bites onto this dude's tie. Nice, dynamic Dutch angle, gorgeous artwork, and down they go. Here, great use of visual storytelling. They're drowning. Violator reaches for the guy's gun, aims it, and he's thinking, oh no, boom. You don't need any more than that. That is awesome. And now that they saw their comrade fall into the river, so they're looking for him, and like, I'm over here. Tommy, jeez, man, you look terrible. Are you okay? I feel pretty bad. It's this hole I got in the back of my head. A hole? Jesus, Tommy, how big is it? Sprack right through the mouth. Oh, pretty big. And so the Violator just takes these guys out. And you just see, blam, blam, and he still has the dude's head on his arm. Ooh, and it just doesn't stop. Now we go back to these guys, which apparently, as you see, know the Violator. And they're called phibians or something like that. If I'm pronouncing it wrong and you guys know, let me know. But anyway, they say that the blood's coagulating so that they are not really able to get the picture anymore. And so they're saying, grab another person. Or it says it right here. That'd be the blood oracle getting coagulated. I'll get us a refill from the cage. You're like, refill? What? Oh, God. And you see these people cowering in terror. And then you hear a scream, blood pouring. Ah, now that's what I call a picture. Only where's the run? We're back with these mobster guys again. Whew. Just those first few pages, my God, talk about gore. This was the stuff we grew up with in the 90s. And that's why I said a lot of the modern comics, like from the big 2, are very relatively watered down compared to what we grew up with. So anyway, I like how we get this first-person view of this mob boss that we saw a minute ago, and he's hiring some muscle to take down the Violator because he's heard what happened to his soldiers. And he's called the Admonisher. This is his first appearance. And he's like, I'm the Admonisher. So who do you want me to have a word with? And I like how you're kind of stuck in the mob boss's point of view and how he just takes up this whole frame. And the guy's like, well, let me see. Jake and Larry here. And before he can finish anything else, boom, There goes those soldiers. Anybody else? I was going to say Jake and Larry here will prepare the projector so I can show you your target. Oh. Sorry about that. And as you just see, look at how the headshot here, blam! The blood splatters back on that assistant. As you can see, this guy does not have a whole lot of luck, but good God. That's what I mean by this point of view. Is you're stuck. You don't get to get away from this. This is in your face. You are stuck looking at it. And so again, we go back to the Phibians or whatever, and they're kind of helping progress the story, kind of talking about the Violator's backstory. Like, you know, guys, it sounds like Brother Violator got troubles out the wazoo. We ought to help the guy. I mean, he's a brother and everything. Yeah, I agree. Although thinking about it, maybe we ought to kill him for dishonoring the family name. I can't decide. See, look, he's back again. Kind of foggy. There's no background. Not enough juice, I think. This one's empty. We may as well open another one. And it's just, jeez Louise. You have to have a very macabre sense of humor to kind of get it, but at the same time, it's still just like, hard to look at in the way that they draw it, the way the colors work. And while all that's happening, the Violator's like, hey, I need to get this guy's head off my arm. I'll come to the mall. They sell hacksaws. And so everyone's freaking out because there's this dead head on this dude's arm. And before he can even get a moment to breathe, here comes the Admonisher. And I'm here to give you a darn good telling off. What? And just so y'all know right here, if y'all know where this miniseries is supposed to take place in terms of like the Spawn comics, because here he's dishonored his Phibian brothers or plebeians, whatever they're called. He doesn't have his powers, so in a sense he's just kind of like an evil vigilante knocking off mob bosses. And this fight seems a little one-sided, but it has some really great one-liners from the Violator. Now, with that said, that's one thing about a lot of, like, you know, okay, for example, I was watching Comic Book Man the other night, and this lady came in looking for a Martian Manhunter bust. And Walt, the jerk of the bunch, was talking about how John's not one of his favorite characters. And they were citing, like, for reasons maybe because the outfit doesn't have a memorable suit. For me, that doesn't care. I mean, the Violators here is just wearing hobo clothes and we're having more fun. So what I think it is for me, like, I love John's, don't get me wrong. Whenever he's in a comic, he's great. But I think the problem with John and, like, some heroes that are made and don't really prosper, like, say, Batman or Spider-Man or Superman, is there's not memorable villains. You know, the villains can only help enhance the comic, just like the hero does. That's why everyone loves the Joker. Everyone loves Norman Osborn, Doc Ock, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, etc., so forth. And Spawn is the same. Everyone loves Spawn because of the concept, but the Violator is what really helps make the book. Because you got Spawn, who went to hell, made a deal with the devil, doesn't want to lead against the gates of heaven, turns, and he still has to deal with the Violator. And the Violator, to me, just reminds me of a short, fat, more, you can believe it, more evil Joker. And here, I mean, we don't know much about the Admonisher, but the way he's violent, but he won't cuss. He's like, okay, friend, now we're talking chastisement. An old-time fashioned tongue lashing. A sound ticking off. And the Violator's just cramming through people at the mall. He's like, can I just get by here? Thanks a lot. Excuse me, lady. And all the while, still has that dude's head on there. Now, we go back to the plebeians. This is the last time I'm going to cite these guys. But they're talking about how they need more blood to see what's going on. So, like, let's split a dipstick to decide. One dipstick coming up. Perfect. I choose heads. Shut up, dipstick. I choose tails. I want to wake up. I want to wake up. And ain't no pulling, no special pulls until I say go. Rips the dude in half. Jesus. Ugh. Now, with all that said, the Violator gets a special, visit, because he doesn't know what to do about the Admonisher, and then he has more troubles coming his way. Now, this book was freaking dark, but in a sense, what do you expect from Alan Moore? Because, he did a stint there on Image, wrote Violator, did the Wildcat Spawn crossover, which we will get back into, wrote issues of Spawn. And even though the guy's twisted, I enjoy stuff like this because I'm a horror freak. So reading the Violator on his own is always enjoyable. Speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to my buddy Isaac for hooking me up with this book. Thanks, brother. Really appreciate it. And it was just fun to read this and just, the gratuitous gore and all that stuff. Just, you would think that you wouldn't enjoy that in a book, but I don't know, just the dark tones just kind of made you laugh, because if you're not laughing, then you're screaming in terror. So if you enjoy stuff like this, then I'd highly recommend Violator #1. Go check your local comic shop, see if you can find this either in the back issues or the dollar bins. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Violator bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love to talk with y'all and hear your feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.